Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Now, Summit County is, of course, acutely aware of our environmental footprint, and we're always trying to do a little bit better for the people in our community and around our area. And I am sitting down with Caroline Rodriguez, let me get this right, the Regional Transportation Planning Director, to talk about a fantastic new program that is coming to Park City. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So talk to me about this, because I think with the electric bike share program, this is a fantastic new addition.
So we're really excited. We're scheduled to launch June 29th, and it will be the first all-electric bike share in the country. We are launching with 88 bikes with plans to add more, and that will be distributed among 9 stations through the Basin, Canyons, Midway, and then 4 in town in Park City.
I love that with Park City. It's the first in the country.
Yeah.
You know, of course we get to be the inaugural trip. So what will this entail? It's an electric bike sharing program for people that may not be familiar with like the city bike programs or other major cities that have launched these. What is it like?
Sure. So it's really building on the whole sharing economy that's been taking place with Uber and Lyft and those types of things. And people are looking for alternative modes of transportation, but they may not want to own that mode. They want to share it among others, especially for cost purposes.
Sure.
So with the bike share, basically you will have a key fob or use your phone to check out a bike. It's sort of just like a tap and click.
Okay.
You'll pull the bike from the station and you're off. It's Pedelec, which is electric pedal assist. So once you start pedaling, the motor, if it feels that you're struggling, will kick in and propel you forward. Now this
is like everybody's dream.
Exactly.
Riding up it.
Especially great for going into town because you don't end up in town sweaty.
Yes, exactly. When you have to. That is a genius concept.
Yes.
When you get there, you don't want to look like you just pedaled uphill,
exactly.
10 miles to get there.
So even though it's fun, it's also a really viable mode of transportation.
Brilliant. And then how much will this cost?
So we haven't determined costs yet, but to give your viewers an idea, for other bike shares, they range between $80 and $150 a year to be a member.
A year?
A year, and that gives you access.
Wow.
And the reason for that is, you know, we have this awesome free bus system, and we just want to add this one extra component. And we don't want it to compete and say, well, that's too expensive.
Sure.
We want people to have viable options.
So there are going to be 9 stations scattered around the community. You can take it from one station, return it to another.
Yes. You can return to any station. Part of the program is that we will have a really great logistics company who will be constantly moving bikes among stations. If they say, well, there's too many bikes at the Canyons, and we see that maybe Kimball Junction Transit Center needs bikes, then they will go and move bikes back to the transit center. So there's always a good mix of bikes. And because these bikes are so smart, they each have their own little computer and brain in them, we'll be able to track data and know, you know, Saturdays at 4 p.m., a lot of people want to ride from the transit center. So maybe let's have more bikes waiting there.
That's amazing.
It is. It's incredible.
I mean, each bike has its own little computer and memory, because I can see that where all the bikes seem to be drifting into Main Street on Silly Sunday, you know.
Or they all end up on the downhill side, because it's so.
Yes, that's where my bike would end up.
Yes.
Is on the downhill side. So a little bit just a background of how this came to be, because obviously it sounds like a brilliant idea. I think you're probably going to need to add more bikes once people get on board with this, right? Because this is just something that I think should happen. During the planning stages, what were some of the discussions? What was some of the sort of cause and effect of putting this into place?
So I can tell you that the impetus for this idea was our council member, Roger, who had a chance to ride an electric bike on an electric bike tour around town and absolutely loved it. He said it was fun, it was exercise, it was a great way to move, and an easy way to get people out of their cars. So he instructed staff, can you investigate this? So we started looking at it, and we put out a request for proposals for bike share. We didn't say they had to be all electric. We said you could propose a mix, but the company we chose proposed all electric. They have a long history of bike share and a long history of electric bike share, and their proposal really just knocked it out of the park so many different components, not just the smart bikes, but the staff we work with. The logistics company is a veteran-owned business, and what he does is come into the community and looks for or underemployed veterans and trains them to provide the logistical duties. So it's almost,
Fantastic.
you know, there were just so many great ideas that came with this proposal that we really just loved them.
That you just had to go with. And
Yeah.
I think it's so smart. I mean, look, I love to ride, I love to work out and get sweaty, but when you're actually commuting and you have to be somewhere or present
Exactly.
yourself, you don't necessarily want to look like you just ran
Exactly.
there. So I think doing the electric bike the whole
Right.
way was such a smart idea.
You know, and part of the appeal of bike share is that you can use it for those short trips, right? So say I work over at Tanger and I want to take an hour-long lunch to run to Smith's, I want to, you know, stop in at the gym or whatever, then you just take the bike for those short trips that are going to take an hour. You know, talking about the smart bikes, so they also have the capability to say you put a virtual station around your bike, even if it's not at a physical station, and say, this is my bike, I'm still renting it. So when I come out of Starbucks, it's right there waiting
there
for me, and I
waiting for
get
me.
back on, and then I dock it in a regular, you know, dock and say, okay, I'm done with it for the
Now
day.
I'm done. Now it can
Yeah.
be your bike to take off.
Yeah.
All right, when does this launch?
So June 29th is the expected launch, and we're look for all kinds of events and a lot of promotional activities going into that and leading up to that.
And please come back on the show before.
Oh, I'd love
We wanna
to.
let everyone know. All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Caroline.
Thanks for having me.
All right, this is so exciting, yet one more fantastic addition to the Park City landscape, and you saw it right here on the Mountain Morning Show. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the last Friday gallery stroll right after this.